let's get started with just kind of some basic, just because we're talking about ships. I'm going to start with Al, since you're the last one to introduce you. What are some ships, if someone's brand new to Star Citizen, if they're looking to come into Star Citizen, what ships would you have them look for in terms of purchasing? And also, what sort of ships would you have them stay away from? Obviously, we're probably going to talk mostly just about, for this part, just about intro ships, like starter ships. But what ships would you say this is a good deal or a good option, and which ships would be like, nah, don't do that? Because CIG will promote some ships which I think all of us will go,
Yeah.
ooh, no, 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 no.
Yeah. My own experience of entering the world of Star Citizen, I decided I'd go Economy because it was a 4-player ship. It was me and my mate. We could go out and fly the verse and do stuff. After reading all the blurb on the webpage, I went, I need a ship for myself. And so I got an Aurora because, hey, the parts are interchangeable because it's the same company. Little did I know how foolish that was. In terms of, if you're brand new to the game and you're looking to get in game, all you need is that starter pack. And generally, I think the best starter ship at the moment is probably the Cutter. As much as I'm not a fan of Drake, and the reason I say it's the best is because it's got internal space, so you can actually walk around the ship and do stuff, which I think is the selling point of Star Citizen. If you're just in the cockpit, you're just playing. You might as well play Elite or something else. But when you can get out of your seat and walk around the interior of your ship and lie down on a bed and go check out your cargo in your interior, that makes the ship so much more unique. And the Carter gives you that option as a base starter ship. If you want to go a little bit more expensive than that, I'd probably look at the Avenger Titan still. And then after that, I'd be looking at a Cuddy Black if you want to go higher. But they're generally the three ships I'd be looking at for anyone looking to start the game, and that's giving you somewhere between a $40 or a $50 starter pack up to about $100 with the game pack included.
Are there any ships?
Buy one with game pack.
Yes. Is there any ships you would suggest people kind of stay away from?
Yeah. Initially, I'd stay away from the Aurora and the Mustangs. Not because they're necessarily bad ships. The Aurora is a tanky little thing. But because they don't have an interior. And so you can't really get up and enjoy that aspect that makes Star Citizen such a unique gameplay experience. And until the Cutter came out, and even until the CRX was there, the first ship you really got that was the Avenger. And for ages, that was what we said. We'd say, the Avenger is the best starter pack in game because it fit the price point. It had good weapons, good loadout, good cargo. You could do everything you wanted to do pretty much with that ship. So, yeah, it'd be the ones I'd suggest.
Loken, same question to you. If someone came to you and was asking for what suggestions for starter ships, what ships would you suggest and what ships would you tell people to avoid?
That's a really good question, man. And I think that, for the small sum of $20,000, the Legatus pack would be absolutely the greatest one to choose. You've got the great.
Stole my idea. Fuck you. That was my idea, you bastard.
Sorry. It's more than 20,000.
Yeah, it exceeded that, hasn't it? Probably. Jeez. No. No. Genuinely speaking, I'm sure plenty of you out there in podcast land and also in streamland have already heard this information. But for those of you who haven't, or if you're new to the game, you don't need to go and spend a ton of money to get yourself into SC and have a good time. You'll hear tons of creators out there, myself very much included, touting the Aurora or the Mustang as a good opportunity because they're $45. And you're into the game with a starter pack and alpha, beta, and release access. They're perfectly acceptable ships, but just as Algorithm was saying, they are a little bit threadbare. They'll get you from A to B. They'll get you into the game. They'll get you enjoying Star Citizen, but you'll probably very quickly come into that position where you really want to kind of start to spread your wings a bit and upgrade yourself to what I lovingly describe as advanced starters, something where there's a bit more, capability, but also it'll cost a little bit more too. So, I mean, at this point, you've got quite the array of ships in this sort of category. I mean, my mind is saying, the Cutty, the Cutter, basically, I like to call it, is it's a fairly decent ship. It's got a nice interior. It's still a very small, low price point to get that kind of interior capability, which is lovely. And also, it has I mean, I want to say the smallest kind of vehicle capability, but it can fit a mule. So, you know,
And a
that is
Steve.
there. That's
I think
Yeah,
you can fit a
and a
Steve too.
Can you? You
Yeah.
fit Steve in there?
Yeah.
Good grief. All right, fair enough. So, and look, the thing is adorable and love it. If you look for something a bit more combat oriented, though, then obviously the Avenger Titan's still an amazing ship, still a fantastic piece of kit to grab, and is still a venerable girl to this day. It's fast, maneuverable, can do, has the multi-role capability, and it's absolutely wonderful. If you're looking to get into anything a little bit more than that sort of spending, now you're getting into sort of like, the $90 to $100-ish mark. I mean, you've got the Nomad. I put that out there because it is a capable ship. It has got that flatbed capability. And what I mean by that, ladies and gents, is in the back of the ship, it's basically got a flatbed. It's a pickup truck in the verse. It can hold 32 SEO cargo and or it can hold a vehicle. So up to
It's a bloody ute. You know,
Actually, yeah, it's a ute.
It's a bloody ute.
Yeah.
It's a ute, mate. So yeah, that's that. Anything more than that, I don't know if I could necessarily describe them as starters. I've got to be honest with you, because like at that point you get into stuff that's going to last you most of the game. I mean, Cutty. Good God, can Drake not just have a better naming convention? The Cutlass. There we go. It's still an amazing ship, and it's still awesome.
That's how you know you're in it for honor, by the way. When you misname ships, that we all do that.
Well, all the time. I've called the Endeavor the 890 jump in the past.
How'd you manage that?
Because we were talking about both of them at the same time, and I just happened to slip out. And I think when I did it, execute was like, what are you talking about? The 890 is modular? And I'm like, yeah, it's got those like little farm things. And he's like, you mean the Endeavor? I'm like, did I say 890?
Nice. Yes. I too am looking forward to my modular 890 jump.
I'd love that.
Blackjack or hookers. Ooh, what will I do?
Both. Why not both?
Well, that's where the AstroPub is, isn't it? In the 890 jump. Old man Hurston's 890 jump.
Yes. That's exactly right.
That's where Paulie mixes the Evercrack. Yes,
that
Evercrack is a drink. It's not anything else.
No, and there's some other lore behind it, which again I blame Execute, because Execute and Al got onto the Lore Citizen podcast, and we just went unhinged. So
Execute went down that line. You know, we tried to rein him in, but
yeah, it's impossible to do that.
That's my job. You're welcome. My tire's invisible. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, Execute. Let me hear your thoughts. Best options. What would you suggest for new players for starter ships? And would there be any ships you would tell them to avoid for starter ships?
I think kind of riding on the dovetails of both these guys, I always caution people going in as cheaply as possible and then working your way up. And so, yeah, the Cutter's a good one. I do also look at value a lot. So while the Nomad itself is a great ship, I think it's a really bad price ship. So again, I'm literally writing off what you guys have said here. But the Nomad is a fantastic ship in game, but it's just really overpriced when you put it against the Avenger, like Loken said. It's just not as good value. And I could hear Paul the whole time screaming at both of you, going 315p, 315p.
Listen, I'm glad all of you didn't say it, because that's my secret hidden ship. All right.
Yeah,
especially with 3.2.1 2.1 release.
Yeah. So. It's really going to see an up and coming in this patch with the tractor beam on it, 12 SC of cargo. It really, going to be honest, it almost puts the Avenger in its place. It's about time we had a real good rival to that thing. Like the Cutter rivals it, but this thing I think kind of it kind of steers more towards the Nomad, and I think it's better value than the Nomad, just on value. But coming full circle, it really comes down to you really do only need that starter ship to get in. And I think beyond that, we'd all kind of say no matter how big you go, you really only need one ship. You don't need multiple ships anymore. You can do that, right? And we break our own rules, right? But when we're giving advice to people, you've got to make it generalized, and you've got to make it so that there's, when that information is dispersed, that it's a kind of rule that everyone can follow, and there is no steadfast rule, as everyone knows. You can cover 75% of people, but you can't do all of it. So yeah, if you want to buy something, you go buy it. You do you. There is no wrong, but at the end of the day, you know, we try and make your dollar go further with the advice that we give. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the only way other thing I can add, Paul, unless you think there's more. But yeah.
My question for Paul:
Mhm.
Is the 315 in a starter pack?
That's
Yes,
a good question.
it is in a
Is
starter
it?
pack.
Does it have a
You
starter
can
pack?
you can buy a 315 in the starter pack. I can double check, but last I checked, it is one of the starter pack
And
options.